My name is Sujith Billa, registered migration agent here in Melbourne. This video is about the telephone interviews, and this is the last part. Fifth part in telephone interviews brought to you by Sujith Talks. The other four parts are available on YouTube channel Sujith Talks, so please watch them before you watch this. In this last video, in the part 5, I'll be talking about the question and answer techniques that the case officer will employ so that it is helpful to you. Case officers are very smart. They will pick up any background noise that you have, so they'll be checking whether you're talking to someone else or you're being coached, or you're just flipping pages, you're reading from something and the answer is looking like a scripted response, or if you claim that you're in office and your background noise sounds like a straw, then they will think that you're just having lunch somewhere with your friends, but you're pretending that you're in office. So tell them exact location where you are. Don't try to fake it, because it's not necessary. If you're providing genuine information, you do not need to fake anything. Wherever you are, just tell them. If you're in a busy place and it's hard to understand, bad reception, tell them and ask them to call later, and you give them a time. So if you're driving, they will ask you to pull over, they will give you time, they could call you back or be online, whatever it is. It depends on whether you have Bluetooth, and it depends on what the local law is saying. So don't panic, be normal, tell them what it is, and you could arrange a call later on. Two techniques that are widely used, apart from open-ended and closed-ended questions. Open-ended are giving you opportunity to talk more. Like if you ask a question, you can go on forever. If you ask me a question, I can go on forever. That's why I named my business as Sujith Talks, because I talk. But that's not what the case officer wants. Sometimes they just want you to answer yes or no. So that is closed-ended question, right? It could be correct or incorrect, or correct or wrong also, the closed-ended questions. Now, the two techniques that the case officers could use in their telephone interviews. First technique is the TED technique, okay? It has 3 questions, TED. It is not like the TED Talk, it is TED, okay? Tell, explain, describe. Now, let's take an example of a work reference letter, or the work experience that you have provided, okay? You've got, for example, you're an IT professional, you got ACS, Skills Assist already, and now you have applied for, let's say, 491 visa, okay? Now, you already got the ACS skills assessment, so why is this telephone interview? That's what you have to understand. Skills assessments is only one stage of the process. Just because you got a positive skills assessment, it doesn't stop a case officer to pick up his phone and then interview, because case officer at the end of the day will give you the visa. It's not the ACS. Now, they could ask you 3 things like tell, explain, describe, the TED, about your work experience. They could ask you wide range descriptive information using this TED technique. And well, they will ask you, tell me about the job that you're currently doing at so and so company and so location. Now, when they ask you to tell you about that, obviously you don't know what to tell, where to start. So you will give some information. Now, based on that, or normally they could ask you an extended question saying that explain about this particular thing that you said, okay? Or regardless of what you said in tell, they could ask you another question, say that explain about this scenario, okay, at your workplace. Now, after you're done with that, then they could ask again, describe about this thing. Now, explain and describe looks very close, but they are different. You're explaining about something that you've already said, or explaining about a new topic. Now, describing is a different thing. Now, I'm not an English teacher, so I cannot really give you exact difference between explain and describe. So basically, they are trying to get more information from you using the TED technique. Like I said before, this is trying to capture wide range descriptive information from the interviewee. Now, the second technique that they could use is 6 interrogatives. It could be again closed-ended or open-ended questions. These 6 questions, starting with who. Now, the same work experience we are talking about here. So they could ask you, who are you working for, right? Who are you working for? They don't use the word might, by the way. I'm just saying They could ask you, who are you working for? Then what role it is. That's the second question. What is the role or the job title or the position title? Now, the third question could be where. Where is the business location? Where is your workplace? Number 4 is when. When was your joining date? Okay, so you have to remember all these things. You could refer to the offer letter and tell them that you're referring to the offer letter. Fifth thing is why. So they could ask you, why did you take up that role? Okay, why did you take up the job? Why that company? Now, the sixth thing is the 6 interrogatives questions. Sixth thing is how. How did you find the job? Basically, what they're trying to do here is ask you all those questions, capture the information, and compare the information with previously held information on the file. It could be provided by the applicant or the sponsor or the interviewee, whoever it is, or they already have some information sourced through their research. It could be open source, it could be social media networks. In LinkedIn, people will share their job titles and work experience details. Now, they could forget what they have provided in the LinkedIn, and they could provide a different information in the visa application. So that's when you get into trouble. So you have to keep the information consistent, keep real information, don't fake anywhere, and just have a look at what you have provided everywhere in social media and on the internet or somewhere else. Wherever it is, you have a look at your digital footprint and then see what information can anyone get about you and your profile. The information should be consistent everywhere. That's the bottom line. That brings an end to this video, and that will bring an end to your telephone interview. Okay. Now, they will not do telephone interview in 5 parts like the way I did in 5 parts, because it's too much information. So I had to break it down to 5 parts. So they will only do it once, usually. One call, and when they are done, they will let you know that they are done, but they will agree on a few things. They will say, look, we have discussed this and that and that and this in this phone call. Do you agree? And do you have anything else to say on top of what you said already? And this is the information you gave. This is what I think. What do you think? Do you agree or not? Those kind of things. And finally, they will say, what are the next steps? Okay. They could ask you for more information, more clarity on a few things by sending you an RFI, request for further information, after the phone call within a few days, within a few seconds to a few days. Or they could say that they do not agree what you said and they believe that what you said is incorrect and misleading. So they would like to refuse it, but they wouldn't refuse it straight away. They will say that they will give you a chance to explain what they think is misleading and whether you disagree or agree with it. That is called the National Justice Letter, because they have to give you procedural fairness according to the policy. And if you're after immigration advice, be it the partner visa, overseas, temporary or permanent, be it the resident return visa, 155 or 157, be it the visitor visa, 600 subclass, be it the general skill migration visas, 189, 190, 491, and 887, which is a transition from 489. Or if you're after skills assessments such as ACS, go to my website, sujithtalks.com, schedule a phone video consultation.